All right, guys. So tonight's call, we're gonna start with some announcements, as always, and then I will jump in to the powerhouse nutrient that you are likely deficient in and all of the things that go along with that. But as far as announcements go, all check-ins are complete as of right now. I'm also testing my hybrid program to a small group in the intermediate or unlimited crew. So if you guys are interested and want to trial it out, I'm going to make that an offer to a small number of people. So just reach out and let me know if that's something that you want to do. Basically, what the hybrid program is going to do is it's going to work around to optimize your hormones and your workouts to work together. So different parts of the month, based on where you're at in your cycle, I'll have different types of workouts for you, all based on progressive overload. There's going to be a mixture of all kinds of different types of workouts in there to help really improve that entire the entire process of everything and just help you optimize how you feel, recovery. You're going to feel stronger a lot faster, that kind of stuff. So, that's coming. So if you do want to trial that, just reach out and let me know. Also want to quickly touch on Valentine's Day, right? Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. If you get treats from your kids, or you're a teacher and you get treats from the kids at school, or your husband brings home something nice for you, or whatever the case is, remember the 80-20 rule, you guys. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay to have a little bit of the things that show up. But also just remember, if it's not like absolutely incredible, let's just have one, right? We don't need to eat the entire package. If it's not super amazing, remember my toe curling good situation, then let's get rid of it after tomorrow, or send it with your kids to school, or send it with whomever to work, whatever, to get rid of it. Let somebody else enjoy it and have it, because if it's not going to be absolutely incredible, there's no reason to keep on tempting yourself with it over and over and over again, right? So that's my take on it. But remember, like, don't be afraid to have something if you want it, because that 80-20 rule is absolutely perfect. Having one Reese's peanut butter cup is not going to ruin you. I can very much assure you of that. Okay. Um, I wanted to give a quick FYI. I may take spring break week off of doing assessments and check-ins and that kind of thing. I usually take like 1 or 2 weeks off through the year where I don't do all of the things, just like kind of take it minimally. And I didn't do that over Christmas like I usually do this year because, well, the app was new and there was no way I was going to step away from that at that time. So I don't know for sure if that's going to be the case yet. But I'll definitely be less available March 8th through the 11th, going on a horseback riding trip with my mom and my daughter. So we're going to be in the Arizona mountains riding horses. I have no idea how the cell phone service is going to look. So I'll be minimally available for those days at least. But I'll keep you guys posted as we get closer to that, obviously. And then something else that I was just talking to Jenna about this actually, and obviously our call sizes have dwindled over the time, and I think it's just because most of us are in this busy phase of life where we have kids' sports, or we have PTA meetings, or we have this or that or the other thing, and even if you can jump on the call, you forget about it, and it's becoming a lot. So what I was thinking and what I may move forward with doing is not this call every week on Tuesday nights to make the most of it. I'm going to look at possibly doing a recording of like me doing education on whatever topic, like 1 week, and then the next week having a recording that releases on the podcast of, me interviewing someone, like almost bringing on like Kinsey that I brought on a while back about gut health stuff, or bringing on my new pelvic PT specialist or other PT type specialists, bringing on maybe a therapist or something like that, interviewing people that'll help bring things to you. They'll give you a lot more educational things that are more well-rounded. And then that'll always be available to you on those podcasts. And then that way it's just a little bit better of an opportunity. It works with everybody's, schedules a lot better. So that's likely what I'm going to move forward with doing, after this week, because it just doesn't make sense to keep doing it this way when it doesn't work for everybody. So that'll give us just a lot more opportunity. So with that being said, if there's people, obviously you guys don't tell me you want me to interview Ed Milet, like that's not going to happen. Don't give me Mel Robbins here. Like that would be super cool, but I peed my pants just thinking about it. So if there's people that you follow or people that you know that you think would be really helpful to have, let me know who they are. If there's somebody cool that you'd like to follow on Instagram or whatever that puts out really great content that, a couple 100,000 followers or less, maybe they would be willing to jump on a podcast. I'm not sure, but those kinds of people I can reach out to and take that shot in the dark. Like I said, don't put like Andy Frisella in here and stuff like that. It's not going to happen. So, um, but yeah, send me those ideas, or if there's like specific types of professions that you would like to learn more about, or aspects of like chiropractic or anything like that. Just shoot me your ideas and I'll see who I can line up. So figured that that would be really cool. We're just going to take this on in a new way and see where it goes. But by no means is the education going anywhere. I want to reassure that you're always welcome to reach out to me, obviously, as well. But I just wanted to hit this one home that it doesn't make sense to keep doing it some way that's just not working. So that's what that is. Now, as far as brain power, which man, do I need some of that after my kids being sick for the last 2 weeks. So here we go. The brain is composed of structural fats that provide cellular structure and acts as a form of technical support for your system. Okay, so neurons are wrapped inside of the structural fat in your brain and assists with signals and nutrients to flow in and out of the cells. Dietary fats are not what add to the structural fats of the brain. So by you eating avocados or cheeseburgers, that is not adding structural fats to the brain. Not all fats create the fat in the brain. Okay, gotta get that through your head, no pun intended. Okay, so omega-3 fats are the major piece that actually holds your brain cells together and the only ones that actually let past the blood-brain barrier. So omega-3 fatty acids are the ones that are going to help your brain tick. So a lot of the population is so deficient in omega-3 fats. It is insane. So more specifically than just omega-3s. There's different types of omega-3s, okay? So DHA is the one that is most vital, and it's been shown to improve memory and reaction time in healthy people when they did studies side by side. Studies have shown that people consuming low-end levels of EPA and DHA, like so minimal levels or none, had accelerated brain shrinkage and detrimental to the hippocampus and the memory center, right? So that's the majority of people. You're probably not getting sufficient omega-3 fatty acids into your nutrition, and therefore you're like likely speeding up brain shrinkage. And that's why you can't remember where your keys are. That's why you walk into the room and you don't remember how you got there, or you lost your phone and it's in your hand. Those kinds of things, if it's happening all the time, it could be the start of this kind of stuff, right? Like, not necessarily, sometimes that's just stress, but just to put it out there, your memory center is starting to gonna get like degraded if we don't take care of this. Another study showed that healthy people taking at least 3 grams of omega-3s in per day significantly improve their cognitive performance and in comparison to people that were taking a placebo. So 3 grams of omega-3s, to put this to you this way, if you use full mega, you get about 2.5 grams per 2 soft gel capsules. Okay, so you want at least 3 grams. You're probably getting that through Whole Foods with the other 0.5. If you're eating pretty well balanced nutrition, but we'll go over that here in a minute. But when you're doing that and there's people, alongside of you taking a placebo, they're literally significantly improving their cognitive function, how they're thinking, their brain clarity, their memory recall, everything, just by doing this one action, just by doing this one thing. So something that I do want to touch on, because a lot of people get confused, okay, is beware of the plant-based omega-3 foods that boast and market omega-3s on their labels. So nut butters, trail mixes, things of that nature will often say like omega-3s, right? Super high in omega-3s, but they're the wrong kind of omega-3. So they're actually high in ALA, which is an omega-3, but only 6% of that can be converted into EPA and DHA for the brain and body to utilize. So you might be eating your weight in trail mix, which isn't going to end well, I promise you that. And you're going to get all the ALA that you can, but then only 6% of that's going to actually be able to be used and make it up to past the blood-brain barrier. Meanwhile, you need the other 94%. Right? That's why we're deficient. There's another big reason why. So, if you do have a fish allergy, because the majority of your high quality omega-3 fatty acids are going to come from wild caught fatty fish, which we'll go over here in a second. But if you do have a fish allergy or you're vegan, that kind of thing, algae supplements are going to be the optimal plant-based omega-3 choice. Okay, so that would be your backup plan. Optimal choices for EPA and DHA rich intake include wild-caught salmon, mackerel, herring, or sardines or anchovies. Black caviar and salmon roe are also very high quality, but pricey, and I personally not a big fan. So that's just me. But that is going to be your main sources. Now you can get them also from grass-fed beef, pasteurized egg yolks, or high quality fish oil omega-3 supplements like full mega. Um, the reason that wild caught is so important. So here's something to look for on packaging, on labels, on all that stuff. Because farm-raised fish are often fed a grain-based diet. So when the fish are fed a grain-based diet, then that's actually going to make those fish have more omega-6s in them than omega-3s, which makes them more inflammatory, which is not going to be beneficial for you. So we want to make sure that we're pulling back on inflammation, not adding to it. So wild caught, those fish, they are eating algae, they're eating sea plants, they're eating seaweed, whatever they eat down there, right? They're not eating grains. So that's all going to be rich in omega-3s. That's what you need. That's why that's so imperative. Two more quick points. According to Max Lugavere and Neuroscience News, which if you haven't heard of Max Lugavere, has made himself an expert as far as nutrients and stuff goes. He actually got into nutrition because his mother was struggling so heavily with dementia, and he wanted to understand why it was debilitating her. And omega-3s had a huge piece of the puzzle. His book goes in depth into it as well. It's called Genius Foods. So if you want to read that, it's a great read. But according to him in Neuroscience News, people with higher levels of omega-3 DHA in their blood were 49% less likely to develop dementia than those with lower levels. The subjects in the highest percentage of DHA had a estimated 4.7 additional years of life free from Alzheimer's. That is insane to think about. That one little change that we can make in our day-to-day lives. If these kinds of things run in your family and you're worried about them affecting you, this is something you need to be on board with, right? Like, take care of the omega-3 intake, you guys. It's so important. Seriously, Danny, if you haven't listened to Max Lugavere or read his book, go do it. It's incredible what this small change can make for you. And then the last thing I just kind of like wanted to do a ladder breakdown to kind of help you understand how this can help with heart disease and everything else as well. So it's kind of like just like a high level overview to understand. So EPA and DHA, remember those are the two that our brain can actually utilize that make it past the blood-brain barrier of omega-3s. They lower inflammation in your body, right? So very important. So many of us struggle with so many things because we're just constantly inflamed. So they lower inflammation. Then that is going to equal lower body stress and cortisol, because inflammation and excess body fat, that adds extra stress. And that adds even more inflammation, right? So when we can lower the inflammation, then we lower the body stress, then we lower the cortisol, then we start to lose the body fat. That's how that really happens, is that why omega-3s really help to reduce body fat specifically, is because your body finally feels safe. When you're not always stressed and your cortisol actually starts to go down, then you don't have so much stress. So your body's like, oh, we're going to survive. It's safe now. We can let go of some of the body fat that surrounds our belly and our organs, because they're probably not going to get cold. And if there's, it's freezing outside, and we're going to survive. Right? So then when we have less body fat, especially in our trunk area, it's called visceral fat. And then you have your subcutaneous fat down here. When we start to lose all of this fat because our body feels safe and our cortisol is low and our inflammation is gone, then there's less heart disease issues. right? So you by taking these chances, or not these chances, but making these choices to make a change, to start including high quality omega-3s into your nutrition through whole food, through supplementation, whichever way you want to go, can make all the difference. It really can on so many levels for so many things, from joint health to brain health to heart health to belly fat loss, everything. Right? Like, please utilize the information, put it to work, make it make sense for you. And if you have questions, please let me know. Okay, that's what I've got. That's what I've got. Does anybody have questions on this tonight about anything I can help with? Um, or are we all good? Awesome, guys. Well, for now, I'm going to sign off for the last Tuesday evening call, at least for now. And starting next week, I'll start figuring out who I'm going to interview, and we'll start recording those and do it that way and see how it goes. And yes, Danny, I will send that to you in a separate message after I hang up. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Bye, everybody.